I listen. I can feel it. I experience it. And I breathe it. This is music to me. And who am I? My name is Nina, and I'm a music lover. And I'm about to take you on a journey into one of the craziest industries in the world. This is Connected by Frequency. Hello, music lovers. Welcome to episode number 17 of Connected by Frequency podcast. My name is Nina.
And my name is Filip.
And we prepared some cool tunes for you today as a recap of March. But since we're talking about electronic music over here, in this show we were thinking it would be even cooler if we mix those tracks live. So we set up a DJ equipment, as you can see over here in the studio, and we are ready to turn this episode into some kind of a radio podcast, and we hope you're ready too. So Filip will be in charge of mixing, because he's a professional DJ. And I will stand here and I'm just going to be pretty. I'm joking, of course.
So I'm not pretty or what?
Of course, I'm joking. So both of us will talk about those tracks that we picked as the best ones in our opinion. So minimal deep tech, melodic house and techno, trance and techno peak time are the genres we're going to play for you today. And we hope you will like the mix and this new concept of the show. So share your thoughts. Feel free to do that with us using social media with the hashtag CBF show. If you're watching this podcast on YouTube, click on the like button below this video. Feel free to leave a comment and please click on the subscribe button if you haven't done that yet. So don't forget to enjoy. I need to repeat that as always, so let's play some music.
Let's start then, huh?
I guess we're starting with some minimal vibes.
So for today, like you said, we prepare some minimal deep tech house top picks from March 2022. I picked some 5 tracks. I find them interesting, of course, but as well, I find those tracks like pretty similar to each other, so you will not feel too much differences in this genre specifically, you know. Mm-hmm. So I think that this genre is like maybe a few years ago was a little bit with much more diversity, mm-hmm. But in these days I think they're like when organic house came. They're separate a little bit. Back in the days, I was releasing in this genre as well, like minimal deep tech, melodic house. But right now, I find it quite minimal. But as well, you can see some techie house groove stuff as well with some deep chords, something like that. So let's start it, right? So sure. On this first track. We have Simon Kidzu, mm-hmm. Kidzu, right? He's coming from Holland, Netherlands. This track is released on Lapsus Music. So what can I say much about this artist? I think we mentioned it already.
We did, yeah, I remember.
When was that? Was it in the best? The year WrapUp?
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Year WrapUp, right?
Yeah,
actually it is. So he was supported by Green Velvet, Mark Knight, releasing music on Save It Records and Toolroom. That's quite major accomplishment, how to say, you know. All those are really big labels. But as well, for me, those labels are a little bit more tech house, mm-hmm. and this track is a little bit more minimal.
As you can hear.
But I really can feel the vibe. It's really good one, you know. So you want something to talk about anything else here?
No, if you want to add something else, feel free to do that. I'm just going to enjoy the music.
So in this kind of podcast, we will listen music a little bit more than we used to. We will not skip the parts. We will leave everything. So I hope in 2 hours or maybe less, you're going to be probably listening and watching, no? Yeah. We can chit-chat something a little bit off the picks, you know. Did you pick some themes maybe for tonight?
A little bit. Okay. But more questions than like topics.
For me?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, leave it then for the music, and
But we're gonna
let's
listen
talk
to the
soon.
music mostly.
Think about your touch, all the love you bring, screams out the notes I sing.
You see in these melodic vibes, there is a lot of vox, like something like this, you know. There is a lot of, how to say, like chopped vocals.
Okay, I get.
It's more like a not that much as a singing like the track and stuff, but still you can see a lot of vocals inside, you know.
Like a short.
Yeah, short, small. That's I think the most producers call it chop. You know, like
Didn't know
vox,
that.
Vox, not vocals.
Good to know.
So let's move a little bit to another one.
You are fast.
Don't sing.
I'm trying not to.
Ooh, burning up. Ooh, burning up. Ooh, burning up. Think about your touch. Ooh, you know it's hot, and we just don't stop.
Ooh, whoa.
Yeah, whoa. This track is really good. I really liked
I
it.
didn't expect this.
Yeah.
This transition.
Okay, on this second track, let's say, over here we have Kristina Lazic. It's a pretty Serbian name, but
Totally.
I found that she was born in Milano, Italy,
Okay.
and then, like she said in her bio, she's raised in London. So
Wow.
interesting, yeah. So Christina, if you listen, please put some comments over here where you're really coming from,
Yeah,
or
we-
maybe your parents. I don't know. Maybe your.
I'm curious.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
About your origins.
She's quite not say new in the music, but she's started career 2016, something like that. I found that she had only like maybe 5 releases, something like that, and it's quite good music, you know.
But always this genre.
It's the same. These 5 tracks gonna be only minimal.
No,
deep
no.
tech.
Speaking of this girl.
Oh, pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Pretty much releasing on minimal, you know, minimal deep tech stuff. What I can. Then is not much to say about her. Don't get me wrong, but she's quite new, so we hope that she will bring some more good stuff that we're gonna see over here in
Something
this
fresh.
podcast as well. Yeah. She released it on Creature Records and Clap Music. Clap Music is a really good label. So Clap Music, it's something like in between the. It's on your way to for a good success, you know. It's like one step for another, you know. So I really like this track. You can steer a little bit of melodies. I will turn it up a little bit. Yeah. Those shorts are really catchy in the clubs as well, with those short vocals, you know. And the groove is pretty much, as you see, like a previous one. So it was really easy to mix, right?
Well, this genre is easy to mix as far as.
No,
I can-
actually it's not.
Seriously.
Actually it's not. It's minimal. It's very demanding when it comes to the mixing, because there is a lot of stuff going on in the groove. There is a lot of changes, a lot of transitions, and you need to watch out for the music key, you know, because of all these bass lines, all these pads at the end, you know, you can easily crash the harmony, you know. But yeah, Not even one genre is easy to mix. So.
No, for sure. But it's. I think those elements are discrete, and this is why you need to pay attention.
Yeah, sure.
A lot.
Yeah. In the club, in a really good sound systems, of course, you can find it. Like people start moving, and it's pretty fast. Back in a few years back, this kind of minimal deep tech was like maybe 120, 123 BPM. Right now, a lot of tracks I saw it's on 127, 128, even faster. So, what to say? When Organic moved to his own genre, I think this they give them a little bit of more room for some adaptations and in the mix and stuff. Let's move to the next one.
Okay.
I need to work over here.
I like this vibe.
It's really like I can find it like warming, but as well for some good sunset, for afternoon, for
Exactly, day
after
party.
hours. You can find this genre quite adaptable for every kind of the evening.
Exotic.
So the third one is Traumer, the track Express. So this is a remastered version. So he released this track before. Now this is like something that I quite find quite often, when it comes to some really good tracks, DJs bring it like a new version, or remastered means like, hey, I did something, change a little bit something, to maybe adapt more to his style right now, So you can sometimes find like a remix 2K, remix of this year, from some previous tracks as well. The quite interesting about Traumer, he's of course from Paris, France. This track is released on Get Traum, that's his label as well. I think everyone knows Traumer because of the track Hodulum, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
He's long in the industry, right?
Yeah, quite a long. I don't know when he started. I didn't find it that in his bio, but he was listing on I don't know, too many labels. I don't know how many tracks he can have it, But I found it that he was changing his style a little bit from techno to a little bit now more melodic deep tech. What I want to mention is that he's coming in Belgrade.
I know.
Yeah, he's coming on Belgrade on 18 of June. So I hope we're gonna see each other over there as well.
For sure. Maybe we're gonna organize an interview with you.
Oh, maybe. Let's see.
That would be cool.
That's why we put this track inside.
I got you.
So what do you want to talk? Ask some questions over here.
Well, as we mentioned, he's pretty long in the industry, as far as I know. I don't know, as you said, I don't know when he started. But
How? I didn't
you
even
mentioned
find
that he changed his style.
Yeah.
Which is normal.
Yeah,
for
of
someone
course.
who is that long in the industry, I mean,
course.
it would be weird that you just, do one thing
Sure,
for
I
20
think
years or
a
something.
lot of artists do that. Maybe not exactly those who are like in some contracts with some big labels or maybe some management house agencies or something like that. Maybe they cannot do that much. You know, they don't have that much of the freedom. I have a friend from Japan that he couldn't cut his hair because he was like too curly, and in Japan that is really like wow, you know, and that was in the contract. You cannot cut your haircut, you cannot change your haircut because people are familiar with you as a image.
Exactly.
As an image of you, you
You're
know.
like a brand of
Yeah,
yourself.
so that was interesting, you know. Like when I was reading that and hearing that from him, like, yeah, I was red, I was this and that, but I couldn't cut my hair.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that was a universal music, and he was like more like a rock guitarist, singer and player. He was yeah.
Now I understand.
Yeah, they call him like Jimi Hendrix from Asia, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yes. So in something like that I think you cannot find in the modern some kind of
Definitely not.
agencies. Yeah, but it's quite interesting that something like that exists. Thanks. Okay, let's move to another one, shall we?
Of course. Feel free.
Is more touchy. You can feel the different bass lines, right?
My reaction is different. So. More groovy.
Sure. But over here still you can see those right now minimal elements, right? That are quite when you hear it, like you will say, oh, it's some kind of the minimal house, right? But I over here find some interesting was the bass for me, and little bit of like cheerful track.
Yeah, positive.
You know,
one.
like more positive, right?
Yeah.
So this track is from Jeez. Yeah. Lights Out, it's original mix. This guy comes from Mexico. Maybe, you know, like because of the country, you know, we over here in Serbia we call it Romanian minimal. Right? You heard about that phrase?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, like he played Romanian house, you know. Even in Romania when I was there, 2018, something like that, they call it Romin. Yeah, it's like a specific genre for them.
Name for
Romin,
this genre.
yeah, like Romanian minimal. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. This track is released on Dancer. This guy was releasing on Elro and Moan. So Elro is a little bit of more techie house,
Exactly.
right? So you can still hear his own style, and that probably somebody recognizes that. I didn't find much unfortunately about the guy. As we mentioned before, always the same problems, you know, like I need to open like 5 tabs to find something about, you know.
One of those genres.
Yeah, because all of the artists are pretty good, you know, and sometimes when I was playing that, I find them like quite mysterious, you know, and quite in the like small groups of the people, you know, and they are supporting each other like crazy. Everybody's sharing the music. Everybody, hey bro, check it out. Give me your. And those music is more like going in the circles of those groups of people, or DJs, or producers, or even the music lovers of those genres. and they're releasing a lot of tracks on Bandcamp. They don't even use Beatport. They don't even use Spotify and stuff, you know. So they're like, yeah,
They sell it over there.
sell it directly, you know,
Wow.
because there is much more supporters in the community than it's. Oh, my track is the number one on Beatport, you know.
This is what I wanted to ask you. Do they have a lot of followers? Speaking of this genre.
Followers.
Yeah.
Well, I cannot measure that, you know, but I didn't search them on Instagram and stuff.
No. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the genre generally.
I think yes, it's following a lot of people because I can find this music for the club as well, and I can find this for, like we said, like for any kind of the events, you know. So I think a lot of people are like me as well. I search the track, put it somewhere on my USB drives, and I keep it. You know, you never know when you're gonna play it. You know, maybe just you need some few tracks to adopt. So. Every time, if I have a time, of course, and I'm not preparing the specific set, I go to that genre, you know, and search like what's going on over there, you know. So, what was your question?
My question
I think that
was,
they're much more in the community, power in the community.
this is why, because you
the
started.
Bandcamp and stuff, you know.
This is where you started talking about the community, like they hang, they support each other and everything. So this is why I ask you, because usually, if it's not a mainstream, then that kind of followers are, present over there.
But I would like to say it's the type of the genre that's make a difference. Like we talked about that in the previous one, you know, episodes about Afro house, you know, and everything. That when it's genre is a little bit more alternative, they find their way to be more like more playing, more gigs, more, you know. So I think that they find amazing way, you know, to earn money from the selling, you know. Over here, when you release on Beatport, you give something to the Beatport, we give something to the label distributor, give something to the label, and then it's come to you.
Yeah.
Over here on Bandcamp, you're like, yeah, it's almost everything is mine, you know. So it's a good way if you produce something like this and your own music, and you don't want all these problems with the contracts and stuff. You go to Bandcamp and that's it, you know.
I know I would do that.
Let's mix it to the next one.
Yep.
Shall we?
Yeah, please. Nice.
Again, in this kind of the genres, I think everything is in the groove. It doesn't matter, you know. Sometimes I hear that few different genres and something that is not mixable, somehow in their production they mixed up. And if it's the groove, it's 90% of these songs, you know. If it's the groove good, then you can add anything, you know. Like you can mash up your songs in live sets, you know. It doesn't matter that like in progressive house and other genres where you play the whole track, you know, like from the beginning to the end, you know. You leave the break, which was like 1 minute of the break, you know.
But if you ask me, this is
It's not just a groove.
Yeah, it's not just a groove.
It's not just a groove.
House is a feeling.
Exactly. But I think this is the advantage of tech house. I mean, this kind of sound.
again, they find their way, and Beatport helped them with this kind of it's not tech house, it's not minimal house.
Something in between.
Yeah, something in between, But let's say something about this artist as well. Jam, I don't know, it's
Jam is back.
Jam is back, yeah. The track calls Motion, released on PIV Amsterdam, the label from Amsterdam. And this guy is from Rotterdam as well, so from Holland as well. He's actually a guitar player. Yeah, and works well with Dimish and Chris Tassi. I know them because I have some of those tracks in my set. That's why when I was searching a little bit about him, I'm like, oh, nice. I know this kind of music, So again, minimal deep house genre is pretty much similar music, as you see. You cannot find that much of diversity like, hey, I will find something else. Maybe you will, but in this kind of top picks from Beatport, I didn't find too much diversity in the genre. So it's a good genre as well. I think there is a lot of good artists. I think it's very hard to produce. I think it's really demanding, when it's come to the production, because there is you need to know a lot about music when you come to the minimal, because it's a tiny line between boring music and very, very interesting music.
But speaking of that, what do you think is the hardest genre to produce, in your opinion, of course? I mean,
the hardest genre to produce is that one that you don't know.
Exactly.
So in that manner, I think if you ask me now, hey, produce some tech house, probably I'm gonna spend hours and hours just to find that bass line of the tech house or groove, But if you find some kind of the genre that fits to you, I think it's easy, it's not hard. So the most important thing over here is maybe to find something that you're like in your world, how to say, like it's really natural to you to produce that kind of music.
That you feel it.
Yeah. Because if you're not familiar or something, I think you can be very mistaken, like even from those guys who listening your tracks, like maybe it's too much experimental. Maybe sometimes I see that I get some progressive house tracks, demos, and I say, hey, but I hear tech house samples, tech house kick, tech house arrangements of the tracks, like you need to be a little bit more flow. And over here everything is like 1-2 step, Yeah. So what is the most, I think for me it's gonna be dubstep.
Ooh.
It's like what, I cannot imagine. Like mixing, and everything. It's really demanding, like, because when you produce, you spend like at least 5-6 hours, maybe 3 hours maximum, per day, something like that. And I find it quite interesting, but still very demanding to me. Like those sounds everything needs to be to the top level of perfection. Or those sounds. Let me just put this on the loop so we can talk about it a little bit more. Yeah. So when it comes to the production and everything, dubstep is gonna be pretty much difficult for me.
Yeah, it sounds
What do you
like
think?
that. I think I agree.
But hard style is as well. That was hard to listen.
That was hard to listen.
But,
No. Wait, they're pretty good tracks, hard style tracks. I assure you. Trust me. But most of them are really hard to listen to.
I think, yeah. I think that it's very demanding when it comes to the production, And I'm sure that there is not a lot of artists that is producing that much of that music. And like a few weeks ago, I think the Black Coffee get the Grammy.
Yeah, it did. Yep.
And that's amazing, because now it's everybody's looking to the Afro house music totally differently than 1 year ago.
Yep.
So,
Thanks to him.
When some kind of the hard dance producer get the Grammy, maybe everybody will start producing that kind of music.
I am not sure that's going to happen.
But with this kind of the Black Coffee Grammy Award, I think that you will see a lot of more Afro music right now.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm aware of that.
And it's some kind of the. Sometimes it's just a trend, and music it's a trend, from the year to year, from the decade to decade, we have from disco to rock and roll to jazz to this and this, and the music is the trend, and a lot of genres are switching between those trends, some maybe the techno was like peak everybody played techno like 5 years ago. Now maybe it's a little bit of more melodic, but still in this diversity of genres you have more parties, more festivals, more music that you can find for your taste. I cannot imagine like you have only one radio station, during the 60s, like you get what you get. You need to love disco house, or you need to love those, I don't know, old songs, how to say. But in this kind of the digital world, I think that it's much easier to find yourself what you like, what you want to produce, what you want to play, and where at the end the listeners where they want to go.
Exactly. Speaking of radio stations, I was just searching for a couple of those, and I realized there's actually a lot of those radio stations right now with different music and different substations.
I don't know what's the name of the website, something like Global Radio, that you have a globus, and you can rotate that globus.
You can find every single country,
every single
I know that.
That's amazing, like how many music, and I know I find a few of them, like they're working like 20 years, 15 years, they still have a DJ, they still have a podcast and stuff, and it's really interesting,
It is for sure. And it's really interesting to see that is alive.
Sure. Okay, the online radio station, it's not that hard to manage. Maybe you just need a laptop and that's it, connection to the internet and a really good playlist.
Basically.
Right, basically. But everything comes when how much you dedicate your time for that, So we can name a few of them, like Global Radio, Ibiza Global Radio Stations and stuff, UMF,
Slam.
Right? We mentioned that the drum and bass, right?
Speaking of drum and bass,
Yeah, but those are big radio stations, and at the end, it's very hard for you to get some maybe slot for the podcast, I'm releasing on Proton, right? On distribution, and we are right now maybe 5 years on Proton, as we are keeping our slot. It's Friday 6 a.m. But that's the slot that you get, it's just 24 hours and 7 days and 30 days, and if you're doing every month, that's not much of the people that have a chance to make a podcast for those big radios. So it's very hard to when you are like starting with some podcast, to get your slot like on Ibiza Global Radio. It's like impossible, right? You need to really be good and stuff that you can ask somebody over there and say, hey, I'm mixing, like what you mixing, who are you, why do we need to get you a chance, And at the end we have like 66 how to say, podcasts, right?
All right.
So every month we release one. So how much is that? How many years?
Don't ask me to count, right?
Yeah, it's around 6 years. Yeah, around 6 years that we running the podcast. And
I didn't know that. Interesting.
So this is my minimal deep tech wrap up. Let's say something like that. So guys, Nina is taking over, and I'll be
not
quiet
literally.
now. yeah. Now we are switching places.
Maybe next time.
Hey, it's not hard.
Well, maybe I could go to your school.
Yeah, but
DJing.
now we are changing to a little bit of my style. So I will need to a little bit slow down this because Nina gave me a difficulty to when it comes to the beat matching over here.
You asked what genres we want to cover. You picked yours. maybe you're familiar with this sound,
But now you can see that how much it's hard to mix different genres.
but you did it.
Right? No. Okay,
not
the
hard
beat
for
matching
you.
and stuff, but you can hear the different sounds
Mm-hmm.
of the kick, snare, the bass lines and stuff, and that's why it's very hard to mix all those different genres. But here you go.
Thank you. We're coming to the track that's called Transmission. This is track by Elke Klein. So how to describe this man? I had difficulties before and I'm gonna do it right now. As saying that he's one of those kindest and most extremely talented people in the scene. He is an underground artist, but the one that felt the right moment to jump into the wider scene, and he's smashing around the world right now. His music background, the gigs he performed at, including the Circle event and Mont Saint-Michel, prove he's one of the biggest stars at this moment.
I can definitely agree.
Let's hear a little bit.
What about I like LK because he has a really strong community on the online, And for I met him at maybe 2016, something like that, in Belgrade. Actually, we met in the. Did I tell you about that story? Huh?
Yeah,
In the airplane?
yeah. But you can tell it.
Yeah. So, guys, I was a stewardess. In my previous life,
Flight attendant.
Flight attendant. Okay, so I was a steward, and I didn't know who is Elke, but he came in the airplane from Amsterdam to Belgrade with Mix Mag magazine and Sennheiser headphones, and he was really nice dressed, with how to say, ponytail, right? Something
Yeah.
like that. And he was sitting on the emergency exit, and everything. And I needed to brief him about the emergency exit and stuff and everything. So I was like already in some kind of the talk with him, And after the service and everything, and I approached him and said, "Hey, sorry, are you a DJ or something, And he was like, "Hey, I'm Elke Klein." And I didn't understand the word that he said. So
It's Dutch.
yeah. So I was like, yeah, good. What are you doing here? And here I'm playing in the club Tube, and unfortunately that club is closed now.
2018, you said?
16,
16,
17,
16, you're right.
something
16.
like that.
It was his first time he was here in Belgrade. I remember that.
So, yeah, and after I land, because I didn't hear his name, sorry, but I was like, who is playing in Tube, And I went to the Tube Instagram or Facebook, didn't remember. I find the event and I was like, oh, Elke Klein. And then I click it and I was like, what? I need to go there tonight,
wow.
So I was straightly from the aircraft. I went to home, dressed up, and Jelly for the Babies, my friend and I, we go there and we enjoyed the amazing party,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a cool story. But you and I actually hosted this guy in 2020.
Yeah, we hosted him for a time code event.
In Belgrade. Yeah, exactly. After that, by the time we became friends, he did me the honor and opened this podcast project of mine. So if you want to hear a lot more about Elke Klein, go to the YouTube channel Connected by Frequency, episode number 1. It's super interesting, and I kindly advise you to do that. So speaking of his production, you can usually hear progressive, ambient, breakbeat, deep house, and melodic techno. Super interesting combination. But again, uniqueness is what describes him, because
Definitely.
every time I hear his track, I know it's made by him. And this is what every artist should do.
It's hard.
It is hard.
But that's
It is hard.
that's why he's so, let's say, not say famous, but successful, and because he find a way how to do that.
Exactly.
And that's the hardest thing,
I completely agree. So, speaking of the label, Days Like Nights, that's his label, of course, in this episode, where I hosted Elke Klein. We talked about this label that he launched in 2017. And again, go and check these episodes of my podcast if you want to hear a lot more about Filip playing and his label, Days Like Nights.
Yeah, let's hear it a little bit more.
I love this guy.
Yeah, I heard it. He was playing in, I think, in somewhere in Argentina, something like that.
He's playing everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know, but he recorded the whole set, you know. And I was watching that at home, you know, like what he play right now and stuff, you know. And he played this track, you know, and back then it was unreleased, you know. And it was like I was Shazaming, of course, you know, that track.
And you couldn't
like,
find it?
Yeah, no answer, you know.
Typical.
And, yeah. So when it's come out, everybody, you know, like I was like go, bye, before everybody starts playing, you know, like I need to buy it right now. You know?
Well, I use this cool thing on Spotify, Release Radar. So every time, you know, new music by the people that I follow is released, I am first to know. I mean, first to know when it's published.
What's the website or something? What did you say?
Spotify.
Oh, Spotify. I didn't hear. Sorry.
No, Spotify.
So we are switching to the next one.
Yes, please. Oh, you're so familiar with this one. And I love them.
This is my space. Do what I say.
Do what I say.
This is your space.
I'll do what you say. Oh, we are talking about Arbat.
Oh yeah.
Ukrainian duo, among the most successful electronic acts nowadays. I need to say that they're currently the best-selling artist in the beatport, melodic house and techno charts worldwide. What do you think their biggest hit is?
The biggest
Hit.
Actually, maybe I will say always your biggest hit is the hit that everybody starts noticing you. So I think it's the Monolink remix, right?
Yep, Return to Oz.
Yeah, Return to Oz. I think that's the most, how to say, when you come to that big scene, you know, with some track, every other track is like, everybody somebody, sorry. Everybody will say like, but that one better, no. But if one track gets you famous, I think that's your most, of course it doesn't need to be, of course there is a lot of after and after, but I will say like that's their best.
Yeah,
maybe.
even my father loves this track. I mean,
Yeah,
he puts it on
exactly.
repeat like, I don't know, 100 times. It's super crazy. But that's speaking of Spotify, for example, this track has over 45 million streams over there.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, sorry. Return to Oz.
Return to Oz,
Yeah, but if you ask Beatport at this moment, their track on top of the list is Horizon, released
Damn,
a year ago.
That's what comes next, you know?
Yep.
Because right now, with, let's say, Return to Oz, you know, I will put it a little bit just so.
Without effects.
After those hits, you know, a lot of other new people start following you. So it's natural that your next track and next will gonna be like sold in much more copies than the Return to Us, you know,
Yeah, that's true.
or some previous one, because I know that probably they have some releases even before that, right? So it's natural way to say the next track is gonna be much popular on Beatport and on every other stats. But for me, I heard about them back then, you know.
Because of this Return
Yeah.
to Oz track, yeah.
I didn't hear like a lot of people come and say like, "Hey, did you hear the Horizon Brother?" No, like that's already yesterday, you know. Like,
Wait. This part. A famous part by Art, but let's call it that way. Yeah, some people like their style, some people don't. I, for example, really enjoy their music because again, they succeeded in doing what every artist should do: be unique. Simple as that. And they are recognizable because
That's
of
very
this
hard,
sound.
like we mentioned.
Yeah.
It's very hard, but it's their style.
Yeah.
You know, maybe sometimes you didn't want to have something to happen in your style, but that was noticeable. Then you accept that you will start producing music like that. You know, but again, what do you want to say? Oh yeah, it's their style. It's more like right now. It's not for the clubs.
It's for a festival.
It's for festivals. That's where they are playing right now, right?
Yeah.
So you cannot play those minimal tracks on big festivals. It's different kinds. So of course, somewhere probably in the world we have some minimal festivals, but those artists cannot be that much big as Arbat only because of the genre. So Arbat is doing something amazing, but there is some other artists that are doing really amazing music as well, but in different genres.
Exactly.
Like Arbat didn't get the Grammy for this, right? But we know their success.
There's a thing about this industry.
Yes, definitely.
So beside them in this track, we have Dino Lenny as again. This is not their first single. He's Italian DJ, singer, record producer, and record label owner by Phonetica, known on the global dance scene for 20 years. He has remixed huge names like Missy Elliott, Timbaland, and has been collaborating with everyone from Madonna to Wu-Tang Clan,
Oh, really?
but also with Troxler and Dixon. And he has been named a wizard of electronic music by Chemical Brothers.
Oh, amazing. Amazing.
And of course, to mention the label, Upper Ground. This is the label by Artbot. It's the fresh one, launched last year in August. It has only 4 tracks for now.
They do only release their own tracks?
Yeah, for now. So we wish them good luck with this project.
Cool. When you're releasing, on your label, then you're getting all the money.
Exactly.
So when you become a little bit bigger and bigger, then you make your own label. Like we see it with Afterlife, Solomon and Hosh with Dynamic and stuff, because you want all those percents stays in the house. You know?
We're gonna mention.
Can I switch to the next one?
Of course you can.
What do you think?
Yep, please. We're gonna mention top labels later on.
Kind of.
You know I like vocals. This is interesting track. It's called Closer by Andrew Riel, Takis featuring Zagata, but this is remixed by Avira.
Who's Avira?
I'm gonna tell you.
Tell me.
Let's go from the beginning.
Yeah, very nice vocals. Zagata, huh?
Zagata, yeah. He's the singer, Canadian singer, songwriter, producer, and musician. And he has astonishing voice, I have to say that.
Like soft, Amazing.
So, Andrew Riel, he's a trance
Tell me, yeah.
trance DJ and producer from Moldova. Of course, like every other trance DJ, he became popular because of Armin van Buuren's radio show, State of Trance, but also because of his talent and musical approach and emotional journey to a better place. And a really nice guy, I have to add. I mentioned Zagata and Takis. He's a Canadian producer doing mostly dance electropop, releasing for Armada music label. So an interesting combination.
Like you can hear a little bit of Armada in the production.
Speaking of the vocals, how do you find a perfect vocalist? I know there are a couple of platforms over there. We mentioned Sound Bandcamp, and you have Sound Better, for example, as well. But do you just search over there, or you do something else?
Well, I never work with proper vocals. I never record the vocal stuff, so I'm not quite familiar. Sorry, guys. But I think everything comes with a reputation at the end, Probably in this let's say Zagata probably has a really amazing releases, you know, and somebody heard her, you know, him, sorry, like you know, and that's how you make a connection. Hey, I have a good track, you have a good vocal, let's do something, you know. And if you have a capability to do some good stuff, to have a good vocals, then it's much easier to combine, probably. And it's different kind of the production when you need to make a room for the vocal. Different approach, you know. When you instrumental, more producer, then you put this stuff and stuff, you know? And over here you need to left out of a little bit room for the vocals, you know. And if the vocal is good, then it's easy, you know, to adjust him, or you know, and everything other comes to the production, you know, to the idea of how that track should sound, you know. Like you can watch any documentaries about, let's say, Avicii, you know, and how he find he first he made the track first, then comes the vocalist and sit with him and say, hey, let's change this to the you know, like they're collaborating. It's not just, hey, sing this is the words, this is the lyrics.
I'm gonna
It's
put
different
it
approach,
no.
you know, different approach to the when you record the vocals.
Interesting collaboration when you have
over here we
those
have
different
like
musicians.
Eleonora, and maybe you heard about her.
I did.
So I think back in the days that was happening with the house music as well. You know, like you have over and over the same vocalist in those old house, I don't know. So I think it's come by reputation, you know.
So this track is actually melodic techno and house. Why? Because of Avira.
But it is, yeah.
Yeah.
But the original is in trance or what?
Original is actually it's progressive, I think.
Progressive. Don't say it.
No, I think it's progressive. Yeah, because Andrew Real is doing progressive as well, not only trance. Speaking of Avira, he's one of the rising stars in the industry, and I follow him and I admire him because of his pure and sophisticated production, as you can hear over here, that takes you to another dimension. You know?
Where he coming from?
That's a good question.
Avira, huh? You don't know?
I'm gonna kill myself right now.
Nina
I
doesn't
forgot.
know. Nina doesn't know.
I'm gonna do research right now.
Nina doesn't know.
Actually, I forgot. Oh my god. He is Dutch or from UK.
From this world, or no?
Okay. All right. So, he's creating the path with his tracks. He's creating the path that you want to follow over and over again. And he has a lot of new tracks, remixes, and his personal tracks, and then he's doing it really a lot. Because I always, you know, speaking of release raters on Spotify, every week I see something new from him.
Yeah. What do you think? Is that good or no?
I realized something else.
That's the Nina.
Because, you know, so, for example, this Friday I see, I don't know, original track by him. The next one is extended version. The next week is again this track, but released for some other label, you know, something like that. It's not always different track or a remix. Of course, he does this every single week. You can find something new over there. But why I see new tracks over there is because it is re-released or something like that. And it's not the first time I see that.
Yeah, like I mentioned, there is some labels that are picking up the tracks that are already good. You know, that maybe they're already in the top charts, and they are like buying the royalties and buying the, how to say, help me, like not the contract, but the rights. The rights. The rights to release the track again. So there is a lot of sub labels and the labels that they don't have any like EP. You know, like EPs or just compilation. You know, like 20 tracks for 20 euros. You know, and in that way, you know, sometimes like you can find your track. You know, like mine end up in iconic 5 years anniversary. that I was releasing 5 years ago. You know, so that can happen as well. You know, that you can see some tracks that was re-released again in some kind of. Even on my label, I have a best of the year compilation, best of summer, best of winter, right? So sometimes one track I release 3 times because somebody maybe misheard or not misheard, didn't heard that track.
Here, yeah.
But in compilation with 20 others, it's much, how to say?
There's more chance to.
Not chance. I wanted to say it's much cheaper. You know,
okay.
like to buy 20 tracks for $11.
Yeah.
Then 3 tracks for $7.
Yeah.
So when you make a compilation, you give them like, take it. You know, it's second hand.
Something like that.
You know, like, get it. You know.
Yeah.
And somehow the same track ends up again in a top 100. It's like how?
Yeah.
But at the end, there is a lot of people that maybe didn't hear that track, you know, and it's some new DJs come, some new podcasts, and that you find it like quite how to say, quite good for your mix, right? That I will buy it now. Even that track was like maybe years ago, released years ago.
I mean, speaking of Avira, yes, he's definitely releasing often. Remixes and his own tracks. This is what I find interesting. And I did mention him a couple of times on social media regarding that. And this is why I admire this guy, because I like his sound.
Like I said, I didn't heard. I think I don't have any track. Let me see.
Again. No, I'm telling you, he's fresh.
Yeah, I have it actually.
You have
His
this
remix.
Interesting. Yeah, and speaking of the label, it's Find Your Harmony. This is Andrew Riel label, so he released under the label of the original artist from this track. And in this label you can find mostly trance, but also melodic house and techno, big room, electropop, a lot of other things.
Interesting.
Like Armada thing, you know.
Yeah.
Because he is a kid of Armada. So
Yeah. I can quite, how to say.
understand.
Yeah. Should we move to the next one?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Oh wow.
What do we have over here?
I love this one. I love their style, and this is a perfect combination between those two artists. Actually, yeah, two artists. Anima and Inalea.
Oh. Yes.
Speaking of afterlife,
Yes. This was by accident.
yeah, Anima is a solo project by Matteo Milleri, which is a guy from Tale of Us. And Matteo says, Anima is my creative self-expression, blending music, art, and immersive realities to explore the next phase in the realm of consciousness. Physical and digital creation merge to become a singular, enlightening field of experience. Genesis.
Right. Really nice. And I like that they're in some way separated, right, in the different projects, because everybody wants to do a little bit of Om style and stuff. I don't know how long they are doing together, but yeah, they still, you know, when you hear the Tale of Us, that's it. When you hear this and that.
Yeah.
I think Ame is doing something like that. Like Ame is releasing, playing sometimes music as a live, and then it's only one DJ, you know, and when it's not live, then it's coming those two guys. So I think it's it's quite confusing to the listeners, you know. Is it Ame or is it Ame live? Who is coming? Are we gonna be listening the DJ set, or are we gonna listen the live set? What kind of the music I can expect, you know? So in this kind of totally separating the project, it's quite good.
Yeah, I think this is really good. If you feel this, if you wanna experiment, if you have a little bit different vision than from the one that you're doing right now, then why not? So, Anima creates its own universal language by utilizing the vast possibilities of extended reality, bringing the artist and the audience closer together, and blurring the lines between real and surreal. As a result, an interactive space emerges that functions as a journey of discovery, elucidating human expressivity and creativity through the examination of souls and emotions. Wow!
Yeah, it's like
Like, have it already awakened in the future?
yeah, maybe you will find that when I'm reading the biographies, from genre to genre, it's like in melodic, it's like more like
Yeah.
storytelling. In
Exactly.
techno, it's like I'm playing techno. I'm from Berlin. That's it. I'm minimal.
Exactly.
And in this kind of, it's like more storytelling.
It is, like trance, it is for the dreamers.
Yeah. So you're reading his biography, it's like
That's it. Like, this is what
you
I
can
feel.
imagine everything that he plays or do.
Exactly. So in a lab, influenced by melodic trance in electronic music, he combined the roots of techno in a very creative way and came up with this unique and abstract sound. Nila's visions and impressions are visibly transferred into music. I guess this is what perfect combination sounds like.
Yeah, definitely. Linnea comes to the Afterlife a few years ago, and make his way to the top in a really quick time. So everything comes to the production, I heard some he's playing, of course, him and Colin and stuff, but the production is leading the everything, Like he's more famous by the production, in my opinion, but not that much as a DJ. Not because he's bad or something, he's good as well, but he's telling his story more through the production than as in DJ sets,
Exactly.
So amazing.
Exactly. So yeah, I think great minds think alike. This is why they started doing together.
Sure, of course.
So, speaking of afterlife, another great story. An odyssey through the realm of consciences. These 7 words perfectly explain what this new and promising project is about. Afterlife aims to take people on a journey. Whether it comes to their events or releases, these two complement each other with one aim: to bring the crowd into another dimension of perception with enthralling production that ignites the senses. Trippy hippie.
Yeah, Afterlife is a huge project and concept and everything, such as
Who releases for Afterlife also?
you mean Koyos?
For example?
Masano, of course. I think all the bigger names, it's a must step to some, and it's opening you a door for really great agencies to great exposure, right, in some kind of way. So at the end, if it's a little bit of your melodic techno style, I think that's the must label. Dynamic is a little bit different from the Solomon and Hosh, and that's why Afterlife right now is the leading. I think is the leading. Even in Serbia, if you say, I release on Dynamic, maybe it's not gonna be that much powerful. If you say I'm releasing on Afterlife, and we can see that by the Koyos, and from his example, that how much he succeeded in a couple of years after he was doing amazing music before, of course, but he's more in Afro, something like that, a little bit Afro, then he finds his way in the melodic. Matteo hears him, and bam, bam, bam. Now he's like on the top,
Well, it is about following the trends.
Of course, there always is the trend, but those big record labels are making the trend, right?
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter if it's a trend, it's not. It's really hard to get there, right? So,
but you
of
set
course,
this goal because it's a big label.
And it depends when did you start surfing on that wave of the trend. Now, of course, if you want to get in that kind of the crew and everything, it's much harder maybe then when the Afterlife was like maybe had 3-4 releases, right? Now everybody are starting to copy those producers who are and Afterlife needs to changing all the time. So even if I produce the track for the Afterlife, maybe they will say in 6 months this track is gonna be like old track, right?
Yeah.
So all those big names are seeking for something new, and of course when you in that kind of the label you get some promos as well for maybe 1 year, like we talk about that in previous episode. Like you get the how the sound will how will sound in 1 year. So maybe in some kind of briefing, right? They will say, okay, guys, everybody is making now melodic techno stuff.
We
like
need to change.
give me something fresh.
Yeah.
Be yourself, be unique and everything, and in that manner, we will set the way and the path.
Yeah.
How Afterlife will sound, So if you go to the Afterlife like 4 years, 5 years ago,
It
was
sounds
completely different.
Yeah.
So the major thing over here is to somehow be unique and maybe a little bit of crack of lucky. So in that moment that you had a track that they liked, that's it. Huh.
That's cool.
Yeah. That's cool.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Next one?
Yeah. Speaking of the top labels. Job, right? As I mentioned, speaking of the top labels, of course we have Afterlife on the first position, the second one is Anjuna Deep, and the third one is Space Motion Records.
Yeah, I saw that. Amazing. Amazing.
So Space Motion, this is track by him and Stylo. The name of the track is On the Ground. It's a little bit different than their style, but this is why I like it. And I'm gonna explain
but
you
I
why.
heard it. Yeah, it's totally different.
Totally different.
But still, that's how you always surprise your listeners, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, Space Motion, a Serbian DJ producer, a label owner, one of the most in-demand artists today, performing all around the world, getting support from the biggest names in the industry, and delivering a unique sound that attracts all kinds of hype on social media, streaming platforms, and Beatport charts.
Totally different. But I can imagine him playing this kind of the track, just to confuse a little bit of the people in the set. Yeah,
Exactly.
amazing. Top artist,
He's generally playing with melodic techno, progressive, tech house, afro house, often alongside Stylo, like in this track, making sure you always want to hear them playing again and again. What I didn't know is the fact about Stylo. He was a side trance DJ before.
It was a song by Gorillaz.
No! Side trance DJ and producer before he decided to turn his sound into melodic techno and progressive direction. And I think this was not a bad decision, definitely. Do you know the original track?
Actually, no.
This is actually a rework.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let me hear it then a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, which track? What's in the behind of this track?
I'm gonna explain. Let's just play a little bit.
I'm really bad with names, so Nina wanted to play a game, you know, like she was playing and I'm guessing the track. So
No, I was talking about genres, not names.
you said the genres and
Okay.
like, no, please no. I don't know the track.
All right. So as I said, it's not.
They probably changed it that much that.
They did not change it that much. They slow it a little bit.
Okay.
Because the original track is Trance track.
Psytrance.
Psytrance.
Okay.
An old one, like for 2006 or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah. And this is a track by Sub 6. Actually, them. It's a duo. They are known as one of the most unique bands in the history of Psytrance. So it is not strange they played with this style a bit because of the history of stylo, as I mentioned before.
Nice. Yeah. That is the connection.
Good job, boys, as always.
Great.
And I mentioned, of course, Space Motion Records, launched in 2018, and one of the top labels right now.
Yeah, Space Motion is doing something really fresh and quite interesting, and how to say, help me, like amazed, right?
Something
amazed.
new, something fresh.
Because
something
he's like playing the
experimental.
concerts right now.
Yeah.
Like in his sets, like you can hear maybe like 2-3, maybe something that is different, not from him, you know. But mostly he's playing only his tracks, you know.
Yeah, 'cause he has it a
accomplished.
lot.
Yeah, so it's good, like playing a concert.
And again, he has his own label and he's releasing his own
course.
label.
That's when we come
Yeah.
back to the why he will, you know, he's already that big name that he don't need a label.
Yep.
Right, he don't need Afterlife.
From time to time he does. He releases for other labels, but
Of
mostly
course, that's something different, you know. But at the end, if you are releasing and you know that some track is gonna be a potential hit, or you know, maybe because of this kind of the genre, it's very hard for him to find a label.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
So I don't know what genre is this, you know, like it's not melodic, it's not house, it's not something. So where he will send this, you know, when you have your own label, and then your people are following your label. So
Yeah, exactly, because he
It's
made a brand of him.
of course,
Yeah.
that's the story at the end, you know,
Yeah.
making the brand. Why the people are tattooing, you know, the afterlife. You know,
Yeah.
it's a brand.
Exactly.
You know, you don't. Of course, probably somebody make a Nike tattoo, you know, but in the music industry, I never see it like tattooing the logo from the label. I never, when I saw it with Afterlife, then you will see how powerful that love between the listeners and the labels is, you know. So Space Motion is doing really amazing job over here, and we wish him a great
And I don't know
success.
why he doesn't want to come over here to record a podcast. Actually, I know why, but I hate it.
Cool. Go to the next one.
Yep. Back to your tracks.
Oh yeah, me now. Now you're ready.
I was born ready.
It's not quite my genre, but
But I hate you because I like this genre. But I'm curious to hear what you chose.
yeah, it's I always choose something that I will play. So I didn't go too much in the diversity of the techno peak time genre, but I was trying to find something that I like, you know. Like maybe more for DJs, not that for just listening. So guys, techno. So
Dirty.
yeah, techno peak time, right? We choose this, I don't know why, but we choose it because we didn't do that the last time, and before that, something like that. We
We
skip
did it
it.
2 times.
Yeah, like it was in our first podcast for WrapUp January, right?
January
So we
wrap-up.
have February,
I
March,
did it.
like yeah. So let's.
And I'm sure it's gonna be completely different speaking
Yeah.
of the tracks, and this
Yeah.
is what we were talking about.
Yes.
You're thinking from a side as a DJ and producer, and
Yeah.
I'm talking from a side as a follower and music lover.
So what we were talking about is, and we need your opinion in this manner, is do you want to be in specific genres all the time, or do you want us to still like mix different kind of genres so you can hear some new music, some new artists, or you want us to be like more like 5-6 genres and doing only that, so
Yeah.
leave some comments over there regarding that.
Yeah, we can mix, for example, a lot of genres. Maybe
Sure.
picking 2 tracks from a lot more genres, maybe, if you want.
Yeah,
Just playing with
Just-
music.
be careful because I'm playing, so.
Nah.
Please don't let Nina choose. Okay, so over here we have a Cosmic Boys. Cosmic Boys, they're from France. They have their own label, Legend, and this track is released on their own label. Sebastian Beville and Gabi Meinadier. Now you correct me, please, because I'm Serbian. How to say?
Let's see.
It's over here, yeah? Meinadier. French techno artist,
Yeah,
of course.
okay, with Meinadier.
Well-known producers in the techno world, releasing with Tumek, Dusty Kid. They call their music something like cosmic music. Of course, it's following their name. So I think they're setting up some kind of the new techno subgenre, because of this. Let me hear us. More atmospheres, more in the melodies that we are used to it in the backcall techno. It's more melody definitely in this kind of the more arps, more
Well, techno nowadays has a lot more melodies than it had before.
definitely. So
So I like it.
yeah, that's how they like. Maybe they wanted to separate their music and maybe to put some label on their music. It's like more like cosmic, atmospheric. You can hear a lot of rap beats. You can see like they're more focusing on the some kind of the color of the acid sounds. Like you can hear definitely. And of course, the drop is everything in this kind of genre. So, listen. But it's not too fast for me.
Not
You
too
know,
fast, not too fast.
The original BPM is 128, so for me it's quite nice tempo for me.
For
but
you, it's
because-
acceptable.
Yeah, acceptable for me. Yeah, because this kind of the techno maybe is in some manner went too far for me. Like 124, 145, 150. And it's very hard to recognize the tracks. Very hard to recognize the sounds inside. There's not much left space to enjoy that kind of the techno anymore. It's only groove, change, transition, change, snare, something over here. You can hear a little bit more of production and everything. So good guys with the Cosmic Boys, and let's skip to the next part. can see that there is not much of the intro and outro. Like it's pretty much from the beginning to the end. It's pretty much a lot of sounds and everything is going on.
It's techno.
Yeah, something like that you could say.
It's interesting. I realized Avira is from Toronto, Canada.
You Google it. That Toronto, Canada. Nice. Toronto, Canada.
But he's not living over there, I think.
Well, I don't know. Okay, over here we have a DJ Jock. Do you know him?
No.
You heard about? No.
No.
He,
Should I?
He's born 1992. He's from Croatia, actually.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh yeah. And he's playing a lot with. He was in the Miloš Vujović podcast as well. You know, he's hang out a lot with Rancha and stuff. You know, I think he was a couple of time over here. Something, maybe 2 or 3 times, maybe in the drugstore, and I think in the club half. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, amazing artist. He was playing on Tomorrowland, on Awakings, on the Exit Festival, of course. He was supported by Adam Beyer, Joseph Capriati, I don't know, Richie Houghton and stuff. So really, really good techno artists actually from this region, you know.
I'm gonna do my research.
Yeah. It's kind of really groovy and messy beats, but I like it. It's not that much aggressive with the sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there is some short vocal that it brings some light in those kind of the big room sets, you know. A lot of pads of, you know, driving background pads that you're gonna feel, you know, in the break and everything. In old school techno, you couldn't hear this kind of long breaks, you know. It's like
No, you couldn't.
but here now you can feel it like that they give you a little bit of the break in between dancing.
Again,
you know?
it's a melody
Yeah, definitely.
and
you
a
know.
journey thing. Yeah.
So he was releasing on Umek 1605, how to say, 1605 label, and yeah, and this is released on the label from Naples, Italy, Unreleased, and it's quite amazing label actually. I think the Miloš Vujović released over there as well. It's again, maybe it's not that kind of popular for you majority, but when it comes to the techno artist, it's like must, right? So this label is from Rino Corone and Mario Manganelli. I don't know those two guys, but I know that label is really big one. You know, it's like if you release there, good. Like you get some dose of the respect from other, you know. Again, in the techno, because techno is playing all around the world, everything depends on the promo release, on the promo pool that we were talking about in the previous episode. So this kind of the big labels have the amazing promo pool contacts and everything. So like from the Bora and stuff, you know. So there is a lot of chance that your track gonna be played in some big festivals. That is quite amazing, you know. So I think you in techno you go to those labels that are actually affording a lot of other DJ producers. So Unreleased is definitely one of those labels.
Yeah, turn it up.
It's really massive, you know. The vocals, just following the rhythm and everything. Yeah, amazing. Over here, the next one.
I'm curious.
You know my playlist, but
Actually, you sent me, but I didn't really look at it. I didn't have time, sorry. You sent it today, I was working.
yeah, I was making my music today, so I'm busy too. So
Yeah, I understand that.
here. Just get this. Maybe you can talk a little bit more about this artist than I am.
I? Which one?
So,
What's his name? Her name.
her name, his name. Oh, we have Melodic Crystal. I know, when I saw this...
Now I understand. Question. Oof. Love this guy. Love his production. Love his label. Love everything.
and he was in your podcast, right?
Yeah, he was.
So I do this little bit on purpose, but... but
I know you
again,
did.
again, really good track, and I really like his production and how he played music, and he's really long on the scene, you know, and really familiar to the Serbian crowd as well. And about Marie Bount, I didn't find that much, but probably she's a friend of him, you know. I don't know. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Maybe not. But like I said, this track is released on the Set About. It's his label. So like you're now starting to see the concept, right? Have a potential hit and everything released for your label. In that, when you switch to some kind of the next level, you don't need other labels anymore. That's it, you know.
And he's at that point,
Yeah.
for sure. And what I like about his production is that all of his tracks are complex, not simple tracks, and different, unique again.
Definitely. I think I have his tracks from 2016, 17 still
Yeah,
here.
he was totally different
in my
back
USB,
then.
you know, and
He changed his style.
yeah, definitely. But still, like, you can play his tracks from 2016 still. You know, it's in the timeline. It's good as well, you know. You cannot hear it. It's old track, you know. Like, no, it's still good. This kind of the new something I will fast it up to the original BPM.
You
Yeah.
slowed it up. I was gonna ask you if you did it.
I need it because of the mix. Sorry.
Damn.
But here now you can see the little bit of more energetic, you know, when it's BPM
Thank
it's
you.
135. Yeah.
Free.
Yeah. So what to talk about this guy? So he was supported by the Joris Von, Monica Cruz, Marco Carola, all the big guys. I think a lot of listeners are really familiar with his work. So I will not mention much, but great job on this one. Different, still techno, but a lot of atmospheric sounds and everything. Vocals, great job over here.
That's what I like about him. All of his tracks, again, they don't look alike. Every single track is different. It's a story for itself.
Maybe I'm not following his work that much in the couple of years back, because like I said, I switched a little bit to some other genres, you know.
Yep.
Slower, yeah.
Calmer.
So you just you don't find yourself that much in this kind of the charts all the time. So, but when I need some techno tracks, you know, maybe I'm closing the festival or something, then I don't go to the Beatport Top 100. I go to the artist that you already know or the labels.
Yep.
So that's how, you know.
Understand.
Let me switch to the next one.
Here's the next one. You slowed this down.
I need it again. So over here, we have finally some Spanish producers.
Oh,
Finally!
we missed you guys.
Yeah, in different kind of the genres that Spanish do. but I know a lot of artists from Spanish, and there were some really good labels, techno labels from the Spain. And over here we have Doc and Martin with the track Cavale, and so interesting track. And you will hear why in the break with the vocals and stuff.
Oh, vocals.
But before that, let me say, so Victor Salvador and Adrian Martinez, they are coming from Spain. The track is released on the Codex.
Oh, I didn't expect this.
Yeah, me neither.
Oh, I mean, speaking of techno.
Yeah. It's more like Serbian traditional songs,
Yeah.
right? It's like Jilin, Jilin. Like I can see, you know, like.
Oh my god.
I will make some meme about this track, you know, like some Serbian traditional wardrobe, you know. And playing colo, you know.
Oh my god.
Interesting track, definitely.
Really
you know.
hard one.
Yeah, so I'm gonna keep this track, you know, only because of this stuff, because of this surprise, right? And it's like amazing mixture of something oriental and, you know, some new styles. So really great jobs over here. And of course, these guys are supported by Sam Paganini and Dubfire, Ramon Tapia. So I didn't know them before. I never heard. I didn't cross those guys before.
What's their name?
Doc and Martin. So yeah, amazing job over here.
Nice one. Love it. Whoa. This is why I don't listen to your track that you sent to me before the show. Because there is no surprise.
I know all your tracks before.
Yeah, because
On Trance
needed to.
Trance was really difficult for me. That's gonna be.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, we're gonna skip to that. So let's hear the breakdown over here again, you know. Great job. So emotional, right? Like you're melting in the festival.
I'm imagining right now, to be honest.
It's a classic Serbian song. It's a classic Serbian traditional song.
I'm trying to realize if they're singing in Serbian.
Yeah, I think because of the probably. Like guys, Google it. Traditional Serbian songs, not folk.
Not folk.
Ethno.
Ethno.
Ethnic, more ethnic. Wow.
Great job coming to this idea.
Yeah. It's very nice combined. Like I find these tracks and vocals in more organic. You know, not in that much in the techno, but it's a great combination. I love it. Easily skip to the next one. Do you recognize this style?
I do, but I don't know. Why? bro.
This track we have Ranch Attack and Phase. They joined the forces over here, and they have a couple of releases even before. Let me just quiet a little bit. They had some collabs before, so Ranch Attack and Phased. And track called Arrakis, and it's released on the Legend, on the labels from the Cosmic Boys that we were mentioning before.
Okay.
So it was on the compilation of the Cosmos. Yeah, Cosmos Vol 2 actually. So what to say about Ranch Attack, my really great friend, and he was supported by Carl Cox and just name it, all the big names. A couple of the times he was in, several times he was in Beatport, one top 10 techno, and
Yeah,
I think the one or two times he was the number one. So,
He was, I know.
Yeah. He will kill me because I don't know that, but yeah, I think a couple of times he was.
You need to do your
He was
job.
releasing on the UMEC 1605 on the Intec Digital Tool Room actually as well. He was doing a little bit of tech house previous, and he was owner of a label as well before, and we were together. Yeah, Gramophonic was the label. He will kill me because I'm mentioning this, but
Don't kill him.
yeah. So interesting. Ranch Attack find his way to get to the audience, right? And he's some kind of unique style, and he has more than 600 tracks on Beatport.
What? Can you repeat that?
Yeah, more than 600 releases on Beatport. So I think that a lot of other artists start not copying him, but influenced
By him, yeah.
by him. Yeah, they find their style quite unique. So that's a big pressure when you're a producer. Always switching and changing and where to go and what to give. But at the end, he's really, really good producer. So. We were doing some couple of the workshop at my bar, and he was like, he's quiet, He was like, and you do this, and you do this, and you do this, and you do this. In a half an hour, we had a record track, like a techno track. He's like, Rancha, you didn't say a word, you're just clicking the mouse. But it's how it does. That's him, So great
This
producer.
is how passion looked like.
Yeah, big hello for him over here. So I'm finished with techno. So now, guys,
I'm
we are
nervous right now.
switching to the trance, and this is not trance. This is still Ranch Attack.
But
But
it could be this part.
now it's getting difficult because Nina, give me some quite unique trance tracks. So in my opinion of the DJs, I don't know how trance is mixing. Because one track is 123 BPM and the next one is 140. So I hope that you will enjoy this mix.
That was
don't judge
your
me.
job to
That's
find
Nina,
the perfect
yeah.
way to mix those tracks.
Thank you. I will give you a job to find something, to mix over here. So,
I love you too.
I will leave it slower. Lancha, go slower.
Yeah, we're gonna start slow. Because trance has all kinds of subgenres over there. We're gonna slow it a lot.
So this is like organic trance, It's gonna be a new genre, trust me. Organic trance.
Well, it can be progressive trance, but let's hear it. Of course, we have vocal again.
So far, so good.
You're good, you're good.
So why this track is trance?
Because, first of all, it has this melody that's specific for trance. Again, it's dreamy.
Dreamy? Okay.
Yeah.
So the color of the sound.
Yeah, and
Right.
it's euphoric. Again, even if it's slow, it's euphoric. Again, vocal,
Yeah, vocal.
important part of the trance music.
And you see how this over here, the vocals are more in front, and then in some kind of melodic,
Yes,
some kind of back.
that's the difference.
Yeah.
Bravo.
And the chord progression over here. Yeah.
Yeah, the
It's
track
fancy,
track
definitely.
name Lean on Me by Ruben de Ronde. Ruben is a trance artist from Netherlands, a DJ, a producer, a label owner, co-host of the biggest radio show, A State of Trance, alongside Armin van Buuren, of course. Armada resident, one of the key persons in the scene, and one of the biggest influence in spreading the trance words worldwide, while in the radio show, his studio or touring all around the globe.
Nice vocals. That's his vocal?
No, it's not.
No?
No.
Because I didn't find it like featuring something.
Yeah, it didn't. That's weird. I didn't find it as well.
Right?
I need to do some researches. I didn't do this. Why?
And she sent me like 2 weeks ago this track.
No, I didn't. Don't lie. Speaking of Ruben's production, it's mainly progressive trance. This is what I'm telling you. It's progressive trance.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Both
But
the.
how you still have the one genre only?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Everything comes under one genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they want to keep it special.
Because
You
of the
know.
community, yeah?
Yeah, they just don't want us to separate it like everywhere else. You know.
Yep.
They're doing it, which I find
It's okay.
understandable,
Yeah, yeah.
and I bow to that, to be honest. But of course, you can define every single track in a different way.
Yeah.
Still. And yeah, speaking of progressive, I mean, when you say, if you say to me, some track is progressive.
Yeah, for me it's not genre as well.
Exactly, it's not a genre.
Yeah.
It's like a style. It's a
Progressive is
vibe.
like
It's
the track in production is progressively
Yeah.
adding something new, something new, something
Exactly.
new. But what changed? Like in this kind of the track, you had a vocal in the before the main break, and then vocal in the break, then the vocal after break. So they as well a little bit of they already give you everything in second minute. They didn't keep it in the fourth minute or fifth minute, right? So it's not even more progressive because it's progressive. It's progressively
Yeah,
in the music arrangement. It's like coming, something new.
yeah. But again,
But I understand.
It's different in trance.
But for me, progressive
world.
as well is not a genre.
Thank you. And this is what I hate. You know, they're calling it, you know, progressive
Yeah.
house, for example. But
Yeah, but that's because it's house
it is.
in progressive way.
Yes, yes, exactly. Okay.
There is not just a progressive, right?
sure
There is
not.
no like on Beatport just progressive.
No, no.
So we have house,
No.
which is progressive house.
Yep.
We have house, which is minimal house. We have deep house.
Yeah, but some people
Everything
like
is house.
This is progressive. Like what progressive?
Yeah,
Tell me,
yeah.
explain.
Yep.
Right.
Totally agree.
Okay, so yeah, I said his production mainly progressive trance, both deep and electro influenced. He also runs his own show called The Sound of Holland and makes a blast on Twitch. He's crazy over there. And and of course, this is the guy I'm trying to set a podcast recording with. So hear me out, dear Ruben. You have one chance to give me a call.
I'm not sure, but I think Ruben was supporting one of my tracks back
It
in the days.
could happen.
I will try to find you for you personally, but
No, I
think-
know him. I talked to him a lot of times, and we were supposed to set, a podcast, but we never did it.
Yeah,
Still.
Corona stuff. Yeah, pandemic. Yeah.
So you have one chance. Okay, I'm joking. You have two chances. Seriously. Okay. So, interesting fact. Actually, this track was released in November 2021 for Statement Music, his record label. where he keeps his progressive trance and chilled out mindset in overdrive, striking a signature musical balance. But what also happened in March, I will let you know. This track was released for LW Recordings, which is actually a compilations, a series of albums varying in different genres from some of the biggest dance labels around. This track was also released in March alongside a lot of other remixes. But what also is interesting is that this track was always released under trance genre, not under trance genre, but in March it was also released under progressive house.
That's because some guy on that Love LV recordings is like, this is progressive house.
But it was not for released for LW Recordings as a progressive house. It was trance over there. I'm gonna tell you where it was released.
Maybe I can see it over here.
No. I don't think so. Yeah. Nothing But is the label. Progressive house.
Yeah.
All right.
But like you mentioned, it's progressive. The BPM is 123. You know, it's somebody who is listening and didn't know the track before. It's like, oh, this is progressive, right? Yep. So next one, or you have something to more?
Next one, please.
This is trance, you guys.
Yeah.
This is why she loves trance. Like, she was feeling the melody all the time.
Oh, we're coming to the best part. Slowly. And you are familiar with this sound.
Yeah. This is more like trancey vocal.
What do you think? What label are we talking about over here?
Me, I don't know the labels, sorry.
Listen. One of the famous labels out there.
Armada.
No.
I don't know that.
Anjuna.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I know only Anjuna Deep, sorry.
Oh, come on. Everything is under the same roof.
Yeah, but yeah.
So,
definitely Anjuna, yeah.
This track is called Remind Me Why by Amy Wiles, Mad Facts and Mirror Machines. Amy is Anjuna Beat's sweetheart. She was discovered by Above and Beyond when she was 16, and since then she's been under their roof, also working as a product manager for Involved Group, which represents artist management and development, touring, music production, publishing, and campaign organization. She's so good that she has already been part of the biggest events out there like Creamfields a couple of times, and this year it will be her debut at Tomorrowland.
Amazing.
Good luck, lovely Amy.
So, how old she is now?
She's young. I don't know actually how.
She started with 16 something.
She
like
started with 16, maybe, I don't know, maybe 23 or something.
Oh, amazing.
Maybe even younger, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I need to check.
That's dedication to the work.
Completely.
Definitely. how one thing can change your life.
And vocals again, vocals. Speaking of the vocals, Mirror Machines, Chad and Jeremy, they're Grammy-nominated artists, producers, and mixers of inventive, genre-less music without boundaries. Also releasing their music for This Never Happened label by Lane 8.
Oh, Lane 8. Uh-huh.
Yep.
Amazing, yeah. We know Lane 8, right?
Of course we know.
Avure,
yeah.
Aura, right? Aura.
One of those. They actually have a lot of artists over there.
Sure.
And Lane 8 is amazing producer. And Matt Fax, another producer that is part of this track. He is a producer who has only just hit his 20s. He has releases on labels like Enhanced Music, Armada, Anjuna Beats, Garuda, Statement, including a full album release on Colorize, which is melodic and progressive house sub-label of Enhanced. He has worked with Armin van Buuren, Tritonal, Garrett Emery, and Scene, Legend BT. and got regular support from international radio shows including BBC Radio 1, A State of Trance, and group Therapy by Above and Beyond. And yes, he's one of the responsible artists for pushing the progressive sound forward. I think we don't need to talk about Anjuna Beats.
Definitely.
Let's listen to music.
So full of emotions in the vocals.
Typical Anjuna Beats.
Yeah.
You can move to the next one. Oh, I love this one.
So maybe you don't hear it, but over here I hear it's because we don't mixing in the key right now, you know, like
Yeah.
it's that's when I tell you it's some genres are easier, sometimes it's not easy to mix, you know. These trance tracks are more like more in the pads, more in the melodies, you know, and you need to be very careful when it comes to the key of the track, you know. Yeah. So over here we have Techno Trance.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah, you can see you can hear the kick, you can hear
Yes,
the
exactly.
cymbals, the
Exactly.
percussion stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. Paranoia is the name of this track. The artist is Rinali. With an aesthetic rooted firmly in the uplifting side of the genre, the Japanese DJ and producer can shift through the gears. Currently experimenting with tech-inspired sounds, her production can be heard in DJ sets across the world and on labels such as Perfecto, Future Sound of Egypt, Ava White, Nocturnal Animals, and Uplift. Career highlights include sets at the Electric Daisy Carnival in both Japan and China, Lana Sky Festival in Thailand, Ava Night in Jakarta and Zurich.
Is the trance over there like really popular in the Japan and Asia?
Yeah,
East,
pretty
East,
much.
Huh?
Thailand is crazy.
Sure?
Yep.
Amazing.
Psytrance and trance. as
No,
well.
of course, Goya trance, India and stuff. Yes. I don't know why I'm thinking that this is more like more North America style or Europe, Central Europe style. Dutch. Amsterdam.
Even not that much in Europe now. It's more in America, believe it or not.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
feeling that.
Yeah.
But yeah, eastern part of the Asia as well, probably. Yeah.
Amazing one. So, Future Sound of Egypt is labeled.
I think we mentioned that level.
We did. When you asked me, can I name a couple of labels in trance world?
Ah, yeah.
So definitely one of the biggest labels out there. Actually, what do you think the best ranked trance label is on Beatport
Like in overall or what?
overall in trance music?
Again?
Speaking of trance music,
Okay.
the best one, best ranked label.
Which one is it?
Yeah,
This one?
you don't know that much. Exactly. A tricky question, right? Yeah, Future Sound of Egypt is actually the
Yeah.
best ranked label out there. besides Anjuna Beats and Who's Afraid of 138, which is a state of trance, actually Armada sub-label. So, Future Sound of Egypt has a lot of sub-labels out there, but main label is focusing on the biggest artists and releases across the trance spectrum, but it has a couple of sub-labels focusing on tech trance, techno, uplifting, progressive house, progressive trance, down-tempo, ambient, and chill out. And it delivers only pure quality, if you ask me.
Definitely quality.
You can hear a lot of different genres out there, really. Every single track is wow.
Did you ever search is it trance in a top 100 overall? It's
Speaking of tracks,
like overall, Beatport overall. Go
Yeah.
and see. Is it any of the trance labels are in the top 100 labels on Beatport?
100 for sure. Top 10, no.
Yeah.
But 100 for sure. But I didn't really do my research. Speaking of that, but for sure there maybe I don't know. I mean, Anjuna Beats for sure is over there. It is trance label. It's
Yeah.
so definitely.
Anjuna was
10,
in the top
maybe
10 actually.
In top 10, sorry.
Yeah.
Definitely in top 10. And the last one.
It's not the last one.
Do we?
Yeah.
Are you sure? So, a little bit harder. Harder by Symmetric. And the track name, Excursion.
Yeah, this is like proper
It's hard.
dance.
It's hard trance.
Yeah.
Yep. So they're a young and dynamic trance duo from Belfast, Northern Ireland. By the way, Ireland is crazy speaking of this kind of trance. So they're aiming to follow in the footsteps of legendary Northern Irish trance duos of the past, such as Agnelli and Nelson and Coast to Coast.
Enjoy this trip.
Curtis and David are rising fast and making all the right kind of noise around the modern trance scene. Symmetric sound can range from progressive and techno to uplifting tech and hard trance. All can be heard in their mix depending on set time. So far, Symmetric have been showcasing their harder edge with releases on Black Hole Recordings labels. Again, when you ask me about labels, I mentioned Black Hole as well. So Hard Trance Europe is a sub-label. They released this track for, but they're releasing also for Nocturnal Nights Fusion. Hard Trance Europe was founded in 2017.
Yeah, it's actually a hard trance.
and
See, like clap is on every key. Like
exactly, completely. So this label was founded in 2017. It was a fresh concept launched with a vision to unite the tougher end of the trance music spectrum, catering for everything from the more uplifting sounds through tech trance, European, acid, classic hard trance, freeform, and beyond.
this one.
This kind.
You forgot about this one?
Oh my god! How did I forget about this one? The best one. All right. Wait.
Last.
So, what I wanted to say about this kind of music is music for the festivals. Yeah.
Okay, I can imagine.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask me, it is for the festivals.
Yeah. So in what hour of the festival you will gonna listen to this?
Last hour.
Last hour?
Yeah.
So it's like 7 in the morning,
Maybe
or
last-
it's 5 in the morning,
it
or it's
depends.
9 in the
It
morning?
depends. For example, if you're going to a daily festival, like
Okay.
Luminosity Festival, one of the famous ones in the Netherlands, and I'm gonna be there in June, like every year. It's
Accidentally, she will accidentally go there on the main stage. Yeah.
no, I would never go accidentally there.
Like on Tomorrowland, yeah.
Oh, Tomorrowland is in July, so I will wait for that. Okay, so
Enjoy this trip.
So in which hour?
maybe there will be like a side trance for the last hour left, and this one would be before, for example.
Nice.
Or it could be the last one, depending on the day.
So does Trance Festival starts with slower BPM?
Yeah, always.
Or the music is like more slower, if you get me. Not the BPM, but like we heard it before, like the tracks are not that much in the trance wave, so it's more like in progressive. They start with festival with that kind of.
Usually like that. It could be like progressive, or if you're at that kind of festival that has a lot of different stages, like Luminosity, for example, you can find a lot of different styles out there during the whole day.
Yeah.
But if you're going to a festival where there is only one stage, then it's always like this, progressive or even tech trance or something like that, something more slower. And then they're speeding it up, adding a lot of melodies, vocals, and ending up with something pretty hot.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh wow! How could I forgot about this one? This is where I faced an illogical situation on Beatport. This track is not on the list of best new trance for March, but it is on the top of the list of Beatport top 10 trance tracks at the present moment. Why? How? Who is creating those lists? I don't get it.
Am I good at trance, DJ?
Amazing, DJ.
This is my first time I'm mixing trance.
I could recommend you.
Yeah.
This is typical uplifting trance.
Yeah.
Where
Exactly.
this is actually the main.
You're quite good over here in this subgenre of trance. Like when you say like uplifting, like I immediately hear the sounds that are uplifting.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Good, Nina.
I'm a pretty.
You know your job. You know your job.
No, this is not about job. This is about love. This is about passion. This is what I'm listening to for like 12 years.
Sorry.
And I know a lot about this. So this is why I can talk like this.
Amazing. Thanks.
So uplifting is, the main subgenre of trance music. When you enter the Beatport, you can find. I think like 80% of those tracks, best tracks, are uplifting trance.
Yeah.
It was popular back then. It is popular right now as well. It's crazy. So, Same Sky, Same Stars, Ben Gold and Plume. Ben Gold is born in London, based in Amsterdam, one of the most forward-thinking and unique trance producers in the world. Armada Music has recently been dubbed Ben Gold the future of trance music. He likes playing with uplifting melodies and vocals, which is the major sound of trance music, as I said. This summer, he's releasing his second artist album to showcase some of the most dynamic and boundary-pushing trance ever produced.
What do you listen the most when you're listening to trance? The melodies, the colors, the bass, the kick, the vocals?
That's a good question.
Since, I don't know.
That's a good question, and I can tell you everything.
Of course, you know everything.
First thing that you can hear, is actually a melody. Then, if the track has vocals, then there are lyrics. I'm not just,
It's not just random lyrics here underground.
Yeah, it's not. I just,
stuff,
I really need to hear what they're saying over there.
Yeah, and it's actually singing.
So Plume, one of the most in-demand vocalists in the trance scene nowadays, every single track she makes ends up on the top charts, monthly, yearly, all of them.
Why is that?
She is so good. Everyone wants to work with her.
Plume?
Plume. Yeah. She was a lot of times on top of the list of State of Trance. Like a year top list with some other producers, like Brian Kearney, for example.
It's the same sky, same stars. We see the same sky, same stars.
I think for me are this combination of the melody and the vocals. You know that's made the for me the trance. And
It is.
But when I was young, I was listening to Esther, of course, and that's what he means. Like, with the harmony of the voice.
Thank you.
And then comes the groove. After, groove just following
You're
this
just
energy.
waiting for
Yeah.
it. You're just
Yeah.
being impatient, to hear it. But you know it's gonna happen.
It's the same sky, same stars.
Yeah,
Nina is rocking
I
the
need a
house.
lot of space when I'm dancing.
Yeah, but you see over here, like we mentioning in minimal, it's more in the groove. It's like different type of what you're listening.
Completely.
And over here is more vocals and stuff. Over there is more groove in melodic techno. I don't know what, but amazing.
And I don't know how anyone cannot like trance music. I mean, I get the part where you're not a fan of trance music,
Yeah.
but you cannot say it's bad music or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that,
I think it's not childish. Don't get me wrong, but in some point that we were talking about that, in some point, or you stay a fan of that kind of music and you're just adore that sound, or you just by the years you're lowering your BPM, you're in everything. Probably most of those producers, DJs as well, most of the crowd over there is like just switching to the progressive or melodic, a little bit more softer, not that aggressive style, like in.
But I mean, if you look at the BPM, for example, it is not a slow track,
Yeah, it's fast one.
Exactly, that's weird. It's not slow at all. But some people define it as cheesy a little bit because of the vocals.
Yeah, that's what I'm maybe like not childish.
Yeah,
but
I know,
cheesy,
I got it.
But it's classic, and I like what it trance. It's keep the classic, like techno. You don't know what's techno anymore, And all those kids that's coming now and listening to techno, they're like, oh, but what was techno before? They don't know it. But in trance, like you could say, this was trance. 10 years, 20 years ago, this was trance. This is classic.
Of course, they're experimenting a lot nowadays, speaking of this genre as well, but they're keeping, the origins over there. So, thank God for that. Armada Captivating is the label, sub-label actually, Armada, of course. It's focused on the young talents who will bring the new sound of today and tomorrow.
Quite accomplish. Good set, huh?
We did.
What is it, like 2 hours?
Maybe even more, I think. We never succeed in what we planned.
Next time we're gonna mix the radio mix. Yeah, not extended versions.
But however, we actually did it, and applause for this guy.
And for the Nina. And for the Nina as
For
well.
perfectly mixing different genres. I did give you a hard job, I guess.
It's
but
not hard.
you are too long in this industry, so there are no problems for you, speaking of that. So, and I think I like this concept that we started.
Yeah, me too.
And we could continue doing it this way.
I think we will.
Yeah, that's cool. So I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this and about this episode and about this concept. Let us know using social media and hashtag CBF show. And subscribe to Connected by Frequency YouTube channel. I need to repeat this all the time because I need you to do it. Click on the bell button beside it so you could get a notification every time a new episode is published. Also click on the like button if you like this episode, share it wherever you can, and leave a comment if you want. So thanks again for watching, and remember, we are all connected by frequency. Until next time, stay safe and have fun.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.